Welcome, 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 everybody. You reached the Reach Podcast Show. We're back for our back-to-back editions today. As you can see, we have another virtual in-studio guest, as I would say, my man Brandon D. Stalker. We're honoring the cancer awareness episode is what this is all about, to get some education on cannabis awareness and the uses and the proper uses and how it can benefit your life. But just as we said on the last show, I appreciate everybody that tuned in to the stress awareness show, which directly relates to me in my mind to this to this cannabis awareness show as well, because we're always trying to find ways to relieve ourselves of stress, and I know this is definitely one of those ways we can do that. But shout out to my sister, Triska M. Small, on her show. And I got a lot of people talking about coming on tonight. So we look forward to seeing all those people. Again, shout out to everyone that has been directly affected by COVID-19, that actually has some type of impact that has hit them directly in their home. We're praying for y'all. We salute y'all, and we're supporting y'all. And so that just brings me right into my man, Brandon D. Stalker, man. Welcome to the show. And I appreciate everything. So sounds like getting a little feedback. I'm not sure.
Hold on 1 second.
Absolutely, no problem. But you are the CEO of HempDeLaCreme. So talk about it, man. Everybody know who you are, man. Oh, my man froze up on me. Let's give him a second. But yeah, it's Brandon D. Stalker. He's gotten into the cannabis business, and has a lot of products he wants to talk about and some amazing things that he's going to do. And while we give him a second to come back, it's just all about awareness. This is another thing that the month of April
I'm back.
recognizes. Absolutely. You're back. I was just on to introduction, basically just letting them know you're Brandon D. Stalker, man, and you take it from there.
All right. I'm Brandon D. Stalker. I am the CEO of HempDeLaCreme. We are a CBD education and distribution company that teaches our clients how to restore their body's natural balance, as well as strengthen their mental health through the use of hemp products.
Okay, cool, man. And I know it's a lot of people that are aware of cannabis and, maybe using it the wrong way and, all those different things. But also there are people who are definitely high on it as well. And I say that loosely, not really high, but just speak highly of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So because we know that's a natural product and it can help in so many ways. But before we get into that, just talk about yourself, man. Give the people your background, a little history on you and how you've gotten to this point that you are at now and what led you to this point.
Well, as far as CBD, for me, it was life or death per se, because going back to 2018, 17, 18, coming out of the hospital after having my second blood transfusion, and I actually have anemia. So I was prescribed probably 7 to 8 different medications. And what I found out is that with anemia, you have a plethora of different issues that you deal with. So there's no one medication that actually would actually service all of my symptoms.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I was realizing that I was actually taking pills that weren't really benefiting me, but most of them were actually just helping with the side effects of other pills that I were taking.
Absolutely.
So it was like
you get 6 or 7 side effects. Yeah,
exactly. For every benefit, you got at least 10 side effects. Absolutely. So like I say, I was coming out of the hospital for my second blood transfusion, and I was on all these pills previously. So in my mind, I'm like, I can't keep doing this because I don't know if anybody remembers, the little pill containers that have the letter of the days on it. Yeah. That's the point I was at. That's where I was at, and I was too young for that. I'm too young for that because I specifically remember my grandma using a container like that. Okay. So what I wanted to do, I wanted to find a product that one product that I can consolidate, a way to consolidate all of those products into one product. So as I began to start doing my research, CBD just kept popping up. And the further I dug into actually my symptoms, which were, I don't know if people know about anemia, but with anemia, I was suffering from loss of sleep. I couldn't sleep once I did get to sleep. So I was tossing and turning throughout the day. No energy, things of that nature, mental issues, body aches and pains and things of that nature. So, like I said, I was looking for.
Excuse me, before you, because I always try to dig a little deeper. So, if you don't mind me asking, how did that make you feel mentally, man, dealing with all that? Because there's going to be at least one person that's like, man, I know what he's going through. What did that make you feel mentally, and how did you overcome just the mental part, or did you overcome the mental part, or did you just go straight into treating yourself?
Well, I was already, like I said, I was already on the pill, so I was already starting the treatment process.
Okay.
So it was taxing on my overall, because like I say, coming out of the hospital from 2 blood transfusions and looking at my kids, looking at me as I'm closer than I've ever been to death, it's like I have to do something.
Like helpless. Yeah.
Exactly. It was stressing. It was very overwhelming for me, because I mean, I knew I had to do something because my kids, that was my main issue. I have to be here for my kids.
Absolutely.
And that's what really got me to where I wanted to look further into solutions to help me get to where I was trying to go as far as my health.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so you're not just doing this, man. This is a personal testimony,
Yes.
Which is the part that I didn't know, because you reached out to me a while back, and I remember getting the message, and it wasn't here until recently that I saw a post, and you were moving around, you were going to different people. I was like, I'm getting busy and making different comments back and forth. And then when I went to my inbox, I'm like, my man reached out to me. You told me you appreciate the movement and stuff like that. I'm like, I got to call him right now. So that's what led me to call you, so we can do this today, man. So I just want to say I appreciate you, for taking your time out to do this. But so I'll let you finish, your story in regards to the progression up until this point. And how long ago? How long ago?
Between 2018 to now, so about 2 years.
Okay.
But yeah, like I said, as I started to do the research, CBD just kept popping up. And one thing I realized is all the symptoms that I was dealing with could be actually solved or helped with this one product. So when I realized that, it had to have been God's work, because I say maybe a week after I initially started doing my research, one of my friends actually came on Facebook and announced that she was starting a CBD company, and she had some samples that she was looking to give away to people who were interested in the actual industry itself. So when I seen that, I was like, thank you, Lord. This has got to be for me. So I jumped on that immediately. And I say it wasn't long after I began taking it, maybe a week or so, I began to feel the benefits of the CBD. So I started to actually sleep longer, get to sleep, no tossing and turning. So I wasn't waking up 4 or 5 times throughout the night, waking up focused, having the energy to actually proceed through the day. So what I like to tell people is CBD for me is melatonin at night. It is coffee in the morning and an energy drink throughout the day. And that's what it is for me.
For you, yeah.
Now exactly. And mind you, it does different things for different people. So it's a bunch of different benefits. So yeah. And that's how I pretty much got started into the industry. So I was a product of the product before I even thought about making money off of it. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, man, that's so interesting. So, let's get to the I don't know what we want to call it, but I guess the stigma of the conversation just right off the bat, and we can go into everything else. When
Hmm.
people say cannabis, they think weed and this, that, and other. And then for someone like yourself, when you think cannabis, you think about the healing and the mental things that you've learned from it and you've gotten from it, and being, like you said, a product of the product. So
Hmm.
talk about that, the difference, and one perspective versus another perspective.
Well, for me, I know because I'm familiar with the whole marijuana part of it. But for me, the first thing that I try to, when someone approaches me about it or I'm talking about it, the first thing I try to rule out is there is no high. You're not going to be walking around feeling altered. There's no euphoria or anything like that. There's actually the cannabis is the actual plant, but you have two species of the plant, which
Mhm.
one is marijuana, and that has all the THC, which will get you high. And
Yes.
then you have hemp, which is the other species of that plant, which has no psychoactive properties, which would, what I mean by psychoactive is you won't be getting high. It's no brain or body alterations at all. So that's one thing that I try to put out there, because a lot of people aren't trying it because they automatically think when you say CBD or cannabis that it's THC and I'm trying to get high.
Right.
So I try to eliminate that from Jump Street to get them to open up their minds to realize that this is something that will benefit your health.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
So in another term, it's like I told you, with this show, I try to relate things that we can give back to the youth, in
Mm-hmm.
particular. And
Mm-hmm.
so a couple weeks ago, I had someone on, and they were like, "Man, he's smoking on the show." Like I said, this was like what I call a real show, because everybody needs to get certain things, and they need to hear certain things, and they actually need to see certain things, right? And
Exactly.
so when you see that, there's going to be different perspectives. So again, with what you're providing, is strictly healing, it's strictly beneficial, and it doesn't have the THC. And then even with the hemp, that's another helping agent that is part of it as well, right?
Exactly. Yes.
So what are some of those products that you have?
Well, right now we have oils, and with the oils, you put it up under your tongue and let it absorb into your system, and that's one of the main ways that we actually use CBD. We have different creams for like topical issues if you're having kind of aches or pains or anything like that. Because one thing we have to realize is the underlying cause to most issues is inflammation, which is swelling.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no more powerful um, inflammation agent out there than CBD. So when you start using this, you're beginning to build your immune system to where you're not experiencing overly swelling or anything like that. It's helping your body begin to fight off what you would normally be fighting off yourself. So
Right.
it helps your body get to a place, like I said, a natural balance or homeostasis, as some will say,
Mhm.
um, and allows you to live a completely better life.
Okay. And so with the I guess I'll just say, for the lack of a better term, as far as the side effects. So, sleep was something that you weren't getting as much as you were liking. And so then you did the CBD oils. And so it's your melatonin at night. What are the side effects as far as the next day? Are you dragging? Is it hard to recover? Is what maybe some people would ask as far as that.
And that's the thing. With CBD, there only side effects you would get is if you're using too much.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no grogginess, there's no crash as far as if you're taking an energy drink or anything like that. There's really no downside to it except for if you're taking too much.
Right.
So it's pretty much. plus.
Use as instructed. Yeah, use as instructed, and I guess you say you're good.
Exactly.
Okay. And so, oh, go ahead.
Oh, and that's why I always have my people contact me when they're getting it, so I can properly show them exactly what they have and how to use it properly, so they're not experiencing those like shocking their system or whatever the case may be.
Okay. And man, we got a lot of people tuning in, so I just want to say hello to everybody that's tuning in. We appreciate y'all.
And I definitely appreciate it.
Absolutely, to the Reach Podcast Show with my man Brandon Stocker, CEO of HempDeLaCreme. And as you can see, it's a cannabis awareness, and this is not marijuana. This is a natural agent that's helping with quite a few things. And so that's basically what the discussion is about. So, is there a line of products, Brandon, that you can talk about? Like, I know we got the oils. Is there what other products are in the repertoire in the line of products?
Well, we have up about maybe 20 products. So it just depends on what the person is experiencing and how exactly we want to attack it. So with most people, I always I usually recommend a regimen of using the CBD oil 2 times a day. And if they're having some kind of aches or pains, I would recommend a cream. We have 3 different creams, but I would normally recommend a relief cream, which is, I would say it's icy hot on steroids.
On steroids, okay.
On steroids.
Is my leg gonna burn off, Brandon? You said on steroids.
Yeah. What I mean by that is most creams are only going to penetrate so deep.
Right.
But with this, it's actually penetrating to your bone.
Yes.
So it's actually getting to the root of the issue and it's going to start helping that issue like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I told you and we discussed, man, I'm gonna learn some things today, but I'm familiar with it as well. I lost an aunt, God rest her soul, but this was a product that we use, so I'm familiar with that. Rubbing it on your legs, rubbing it on your joints, and it goes straight to the point. And so that's what people don't really realize is that you apply it directly, and that's something that really does help. And it relieves pain, but she died of cancer, and there's a whole nother story. But what are if we could say, because I know it treats a lot of things and it helps a lot of things, but are there any areas like joint inflammation, aches and pains? Is there a certain line of symptoms that you recommend for this, or that you say, hey, it's good for this? Is there anything from your experience that you definitely want to use this for?
Well, I have a bunch of different clients who are actually getting different benefits from it. So, like for instance, Miss Mika Diamond. She's a client of mine. I believe she is. Hey, Mika. But yeah, after 2 days, she began to actually get calmer. It actually helped calm her, and as after she got to sleep, it actually helped her stay asleep longer. And what that does is it helps her wake up with more energy and more alert, which helps with her focus.
So it calms the brain down, because my girl just stay going.
She's always going, always on the move.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so again, go ahead. No, we got a lot of people tuning in. One of the questions is, and I was going to ask this, but we'll just go to it now, is with drug testing. How does it work with drug testing?
All right. So with CBD, there is 2 different kinds of CBD that we have. We have a full spectrum, which is everything that's in the cannabis plant or the hemp plant itself and the THC. So with that, I usually don't recommend that to people who have jobs or are at risk of having to take a drug test. So we have what we call a broad spectrum, which is everything in the plant except for the THC. So no THC, no worry about a drug test. And that's what I usually recommend to people who are in that position.
Absolutely.
So there are ways of going about it. And I mean, there are products out there that actually cater to those who are in that position.
Yeah, yeah. So they can be mindful of that and getting the
Exactly.
right thing. And again, I guess that's another responsibility that's on your shoulders to be to have integrity, to make sure people are getting the proper thing. So
Exactly.
what is a I guess consultation like? You can give, and at this point you can give people your Facebook, your Instagram, and how can they get a consultation from you? And what
All
does
right.
that look like?
On my Facebook, my actual business page, which is facebook.com / Brandon D. Stocker. You can actually go on there and schedule a consultation or a product recommendation is what we do. So with that, we would basically discuss the symptoms that you're having. And from there, we will recommend a regimen to help eliminate those symptoms that you are having.
Cool. And what is your Instagram?
Instagram, I am HempDeLaCreme. I'm Brandon D. Stocker on Facebook, LinkedIn, and that's I think it's just LinkedIn and Facebook.
Okay. And I think they can see HempDeLaCreme in your name, but you want to spell it
Yes.
out for them so they can make sure it's right?
Oh, and for product ordering, you can go to MrHempDeLaCreme.com. And HempDeLaCreme is HempDeLaCreme. Like creme de la creme, we're Hemp de la Creme.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that's some good stuff. So you guys can go to those pages, check the website, and definitely schedule a consultation. So what other things do you engage in with the products in regards to how it's used?
Well, I wanted to kind of talk about with children these days, because I know your platform is kind of geared towards kids. And
Absolutely.
one thing that I have to tell parents is, if you're suffering, the things that you're suffering from, your kids are suffering from as well. They don't have the words to put it together to give it to you, but they are suffering. You're in the same environment, you're eating the same foods. So what makes us think that our kids aren't suffering as well? And especially now that with the COVID-19, kids are at home and all of these assignments that they're having, it's causing a lot more anxiety amongst our kids, a lot more stress amongst our kids, which actually leads to an actual depression stage. So I'm starting to gear a lot of my, or not a lot, some of my information towards kids, because your kids can actually benefit from this as well. And I actually use it on my daughters. I remember when they first started going to school, they was coming home like every other day with some kind of sickness, the sniffles or the cough or something. So once I began to give them the CBD, it actually started building their immune system, so they were less susceptible to the illnesses and the stuff that was in the atmosphere, or the stuff they were coming in contact with the other kids at the school. So it's a lot. It's not just for adults; it's actually helping the kids as well. And that's what I want to get. That's what I'm starting to explain to parents, so they have an understanding that it's not just you. Your children are suffering as well.
Right. And take control and take an initiative to be proactive. So that's a good thing, man. And that was, one of my biggest questions, to make sure you could explain that and let people know. Because again, like I know, but this is not about me. It's for us to get the information out to the general public and let them know that there's proper ways, and that it is something that's safe, that is beneficial for the kids. And it's not marijuana or the THC and getting them high. This is, everything that comes with that, but without that THC and the direct contact with the body to get to the points that it needs to get to. So what would you say is the one biggest thing, if you can narrow it down like that? What has been the most information, the biggest information that you've gotten through your CBD journey that you would want everybody else to know?
I think basically that like I said before, it's something that the whole family can benefit from. It's not something that's just specific to adults or kids, or we even have CBD for your animals, because most people don't know that our animals are actually suffering from the same things as well, because they have the same symptoms. I mean, they have the same systems that we have. So anxiety, depression, your dogs, your cats and dogs are all suffering from this as well. So that's one of the major things that I want to start to explain to people as well. Okay. That animals can benefit from it as well. Absolutely. And we all love our animals like we love our kids, so you might as well get them right as well.
Absolutely. And so at this point, I'll give you the opportunity. I know there was things you wrote down, or just now's the time for you to just talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. Even if you want to talk about the other deal, that's fine. But just what did you want to share in addition to everything that we've talked about?
I just want people to know that there is help available. The first thing we need to do is open our minds and realize that CBD is not marijuana. It's not going to get you high. It's not going to have you feeling any kind of wooziness or anything like that. So I really just want people to know that these pharmaceutical drugs that we're taking, they're not helping us. They're actually, they actually just makes things worse. And once you realize that, and then you bring it to your doctor's attention, they're just going to prescribe you to something else. Here, try this. Here, try this. And it's a never-ending process.
Right.
So I'm very how do I say it? I'm very adamant about letting people know that what this is and what it's not. So that's basically, I mean, people need to know there's help available out there, and the pharmaceutical drugs is not what it is. I like to say, why be why be reactive with pharmaceutical drugs when you can be proactive with CBD? There's no drug out there that you take before you have a symptom. They're all they're all reactive. You have to take them after you start feeling something. With CBD, you take it before you have the symptoms, so your body can start to fight like it's normally supposed to.
And that's what I wanted to segue into is I don't have any symptoms, right? Not me personally, but just I'm that person that, I'm healthy as an ox. I'm not experiencing anything. I heard about this CBD. What do you tell me? How do you get me interested in that?
People have to realize that inside of your body, there's a system that is specific to cannabinoids, which is which CBD is, which is the substances that come from the CBD, from the actual hemp plant. So even though you're not feeling symptoms now, your body is still in a state of susceptibility. So your immune system is not built up enough to be able to fight like it normally would. So you're not feeling symptoms now, but when you do feel those symptoms, what then?
Yeah,
you're gonna have to resort to the drugs, medications, Advil, Tylenol, things of that nature.
And deal with the pain.
Exactly. Inflammation, the swelling. So people, I always tell people like that, we need to build our systems up so we don't have to worry about the problems when they do arise.
Yeah. And so again, that's all into taking an initiative to get familiar with it. And so with that, I was pulling up some things, and that's what I'm kind of looking at now. I was talking about what can it serve. Um, One thing that I know it definitely helps and it can prolong is the cancer symptoms. It can really alleviate that,
Yes.
stress, the aches and pains and the
Mm-hmm.
swelling and the inflammation that you get in your joints. Is there anything that you've learned of that's just not common knowledge? Any type of ailment or symptom that someone could develop that's just not common knowledge, that you would like to share?
Um, I have a couple of clients with lupus.
Mm,
It actually helps with their a symptom of lupus is, like I say, inflammation, and the body is actually fighting itself. So with that, CBD is perfect for that. Rheumatoid arthritis. So any kind of arthritis, um, any mental health issue, ADHD, focus, memory. It's easier to name the things that it doesn't do than to name the things that it does, because it's so much, it's so many benefits.
right, right.
And that's why it's important that we do the consultation, so I understand where you're coming from, so I know how to actually so we know how to attack it.
Absolutely. And so, with that being said, I always like to say when you go to the doctor, all you do is pay the doctor so you can tell him what's wrong with you, right? But in this
Exactly.
case, with CBD, it's similar to the same thing because you need to know what's going on. So, what do you tell people to prepare for before you come? Like, what do you need to know? Or is it the same type of thing? Like, what should they pay attention to? How do they inform themselves on what their issue is so they can relay that message to you? What type of accountability do they need to take?
Well, it's basically how that, just tell me how you're feeling. Tell me how your day to day is, and from that I can begin to understand um the problems that you're having. So
Right.
it's important to have that conversation so we can both get to understanding as to how the CBD would be able to help you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so with that, it's like I said on my last show just a moment ago, it's like um it's not that you're not paying attention, it's just
Hmm.
ignorance, and like I
Exactly.
said on the last show, it's not that you calling someone ignorant, like that's a bad thing, but just ignorance is just not knowing, so
Hmm.
you have to actually there's people that just go through their day and they probably can't tell you how their day went. You know what I'm saying? So you have
They're
to
not even paying attention.
paying attention. So you really have to start paying attention, and that's something that goes back to
Hmm.
self care. You have to pay attention to your day. And there was one point in the day where your back started aching. You're like, dang, what's that? And then you keep moving. So I guess those are the things that you would talk about. Just not like how was your mood. That's part of it. But
Hmm.
there's certain things that happen. You was walking and you went up the step, and oh, your knee almost went out. It's those type of things. And
Exactly.
people just don't realize that. So with a person with no symptoms, right? I don't have inflammation in my legs.
Hmm.
My mental is kind of rocky. I'm not sleeping. Those are things that you can't touch. So where do I put the CBD? How do I use CBD then? What do you
Okay.
recommend me then?
With that, I recommend the oils. And like I say, when you put them under your tongue, it absorbs into your bloodstream. So it's fighting from the inside out. So um yeah, I mean, basically that's pretty much what I would recommend if you're not having any physical aches or pains or anything like that. And another going back to one of the things that I was surprised that it helped with is my wife takes it for menstrual cramps.
Mm,
So it really helps with the whole menstrual cycle, the cramping, the headaches of the menstrual cycle. So that was one thing that really surprised me about it, because it actually it calms your whole abdomen area. And
okay.
I was, like I said, I was very surprised by that.
And is that is that a cream or is that an oil? Are you applying it directly to the abdomen, or I guess you could do
Um,
both?
oh, what? There's two different ways to apply it. One would be, like I said before, putting it in your actual mouth under your tongue. The other way, and the more effective way, is called what we call the Pacote method, and that is actually putting the CBD inside of your belly button and rubbing it in.
Hmm. Okay. And that's called, say that again. That's called the Bacote.
Pacote method. Behind
Okay.
your belly button is what is called a Pacote gland, and it's connected to basically every organ in your body.
Okay. Okay.
So
Dr. Starr, come on now.
so what they call your belly button your old mouth, because when you're in the womb, that's how you eat.
Right.
So that's how you get your nutrition when you're in the womb. That's how you're eating. That's basically your lifeline.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when you actually put the CBD in there, it's going straight into your system, and it's touching pretty much all of your systems.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
Man, that's a good one right there. You know, I know a lot of people can benefit with that. So with men, because that's what I was gonna kind of segue into, but that's a huge benefit for the ladies. What is something, if you know of one that is abnormal for men that we experience and that has helped male clients?
Well, males, it basically it's more of a mental type of thing. So focus, memory, going back to sleeping, things of that nature. Most men are, some of them they experience like aches and pains, so I would recommend a cream for that. But in most cases in men, it's a mental type of thing. So like I say, memory, focus, being able to sleep, things of that nature.
Okay, okay. And you know, that man, so the Bacote method for women, you know, dealing with the menstrual cramps, and then also with men is generally more of a mental thing
Exactly.
to be able to process. So tell us about the exciting thing that you're planning to do. If you're ready to speak about that.
All right. Well, we're going to be giving away 2 of these sample packs, and how we're going to do it is I'm going to have if you're on the call today, go to my Facebook business page, which is facebook.com/Brandon D. Stocker, and hashtag the Reach Podcast directly on my page. And what we're going to do is we'll do a live tomorrow, and my daughters will actually pick out the 2 winners.
Cool, 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 cool. Yeah. And so actually, are you going to post something to share that to include more people, or are you just limited it to the call?
I really want to limit it to this call, to the people that actually tuned in today, to show my appreciation, because I really appreciate everybody who's tuned in. So that's just a gift from me to them.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. That's huge, you know, because this information is, you know, it's free and it's out there, but people are not seeking it, you know, and people are not going after it. So I definitely appreciate that. If there's anybody that's actually on the call has any questions, you can definitely tune in. I was doing more of that, but let me go to some of the comments, man, and see if there's any questions. You got Monty on here. What's up, Monty?
Hey, Monty.
Miss Kim is on here. Of course, we know Mika was on here. I don't know. Michael K. Joseph was tuned in. I'm not sure if he's still with us, but
my people
appreciate, you know, all you people showing that support, man. And you know, it's just crazy how everything works together, man. And we have to keep giving people the information. You know,
exactly.
We keep people the information so that they can do it. And I have a ad spot that I want to give to you as far as on my my Dad Chronicles page. So I definitely want to mention that and get you up and running, but we'll discuss that in a little bit. But considering time, we got a couple more people tuning in, but considering time, what else, what other information, what is some things that you would like to share to make sure people hear the information before we have to cut out?
Just basically, like I said before, there's help available. If you tune into yourself, your body is telling you what's going on. You have to listen. And that's the problem that I was having. I was having all these symptoms, but I wasn't listening to my body. My
Right.
body was telling me I was out of whack. My body was telling me I was out of balance. My body was telling me these things, and I just kept ignoring it, kept ignoring it, kept ignoring it.
Yeah.
But
Miss Lisa saying
listen,
at that point, she was like, man, we often like to self-medicate and overlook what our bodies are trying to get our attention about. You know, what do you tell the people that are just going? I guess it just goes back to the same thing, you know, it's just, I guess, pay attention to your body.
pay
But what
attention to your body. Because you have to think about this. If you're going, your body will shut down on you. It's only a matter of time. If you're not doing the right things for your body is just like a car. If you're not putting oil in your car, if you're not putting water, it's going to break down. Your body is the exact same way. Listen to your body. When your body, when it like in a car, when it starts ticking, you know something's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So when your body is telling you, "Oh, I'm getting headaches every day," or "I can't sleep like I usually do," or "I can't focus," or I'm always aching and pain. I always have aches and pains. Then it's time to listen before it's too late.
Yeah, before you break down, just like the car was
Exactly.
ticking. Before it breaks down, just go ahead and get it checked out.
Exactly.
So that's a major. So one of the other things I was looking at as far as how CBD helps is it's a major benefit directly to the heart. You know, and the operation of the heart. Is there anything you can speak on regarding how beneficial it is just to the heart itself?
I would have to. I'm not. Right now. I don't have any clients that are actually dealing with heart issues, so that would be something that I would have to look further into.
Absolutely.
But I know that it will. If you're having like spasms or anything like that, it will help calm that. High blood pressure, blood sugar, it helps lower those. And like I say, I would have to look further into that. The whole heart.
Exactly. And I'm just asking questions to get you to say what you already know. And that's really what I was speaking to. Is just people don't even realize it's just like you keep saying, there's so many benefits and so many things that help with, and just trying to verbally say those things and let them get it for you. But that's basically what it's saying right here, you know, and those are the things that it really helps, and it helps the heart to operate and function properly, man. So definitely appreciate that information. And share your page. Somebody's asking if you could share your page and your information one more time.
My business page on Facebook. I am Brandon D. Stocker on that. That's both my business and my personal page. So if you're looking to enter into the drawing, it's going to be facebook.com/Brandon D. Stocker, and that'll lead you to my business page. I'm on LinkedIn as Brandon D. Stocker. I'm on Instagram, HempDeLaCreme. And I think and for products, if you're looking to order products, it's MrHempDeLaCreme.com.
Okay. And so talking about I don't know if we want to do it, but I'll just ask in regards to pricing, you know, like how expensive is, you know, a regular bottle of the oil or the cream? What type of price ranges are we looking at?
All right. We have 3 different actual concentrations of CBD oil. So we have 500 milligrams, 750 milligrams, and 1500 1500 milligrams. So for the 500 it's $69. For the 750 it is $89, and for the 1500 I believe it's $129.
Okay.
So
and is there a recommendation of how long that should last, like just for regular usage, you know?
Okay. What I usually recommend is people start out with 2 to 3 drops 2 times a day. And if you're using that regimen, then it will last for at least a month. So it's a 1 ounce bottle, and I have one right here. Let me show it to you real quick.
Absolutely.
This is my 500 milligrams, and this bottle will last at least a month.
Right. Okay. Okay. And that's the 500 milligram. And then
Yes.
you have other sizes with you right now, or no?
We have our 750. They're all the same size. They're just different. The potency of them are different.
Ah, okay. Okay. So it's not a different size bottle.
No, it's all the same.
Okay.
And what I usually recommend with my clients is if they're just starting out, we always start with low and slow. So we would start with the 500 milligrams and then start with 2 drops a day, because I've actually had a client that contacted me and told, because at first I was recommending 5 drops, but she actually contacted me and told me that it was working too well and it was calming her too much. Okay. So we had to back it up.
Yeah.
It was doing too much for her.
Okay.
But so we had to back it up, and now I tend to recommend that my clients, especially if you're just starting out, 2 drops under your tongue 2 times a day. So morning and in the evening.
Okay, so it's a total of 4 drops per day.
Yes.
Okay, and the other lady, was she doing the 5 twice a day?
Yes.
Okay, so she was 10. So you go from 10 to the 4. That's definitely should be a big difference for people. Yeah, man, Brandon. I've learned a lot, man. I appreciate it. And just one last time, because after this, I just want you to share any last thoughts or anything. But again, let them know one more time what you're doing for the people watching the show today.
All right. Like I said before, we have these sample packs that we're giving out. It's going to be 2. We may do 3. I haven't decided yet. We may give out 3 depending on how many people actually enter into the drawing. But go to my business page, which is facebook.com/Brandon D. Stocker, and hashtag the Reach podcast, and that'll get you entered into the actual drawing. We're going to do a Facebook Live tomorrow with my daughters, Isabel and Ava, and they will actually be pulling in names of the winners.
Cool. And I had somebody say that your daughters, I guess they say your daughters are the healthiest kids that they know. So
thank you.
Absolutely, man.
Thank you.
Let's see. Ms. Turkey said, I've been suffering with migraines lately. I've been having them every day, and that she hates the doctors. I'm not sure if she's a Ms. Turk, are you using the CBD? But I guess that's definitely where the drops would come into play for that.
Yes, and with headaches, another way my wife uses it is with the cream. She actually puts it directly on her temples, and it eliminates the headaches with that as well.
Okay, so just rubbing the cream in. Do you happen to have a sample of the cream to show?
Yes, sir, I do. And this is our relief cream, and it doesn't take much. You only need enough to cover the surface of the issue that you're having. Absolutely. And this is going to be $69, and I've been using it, and I've had my jar for I think about 3 months, so it lasts pretty long.
Absolutely, they can definitely get great use out of it. Man,
exactly.
Well, again, is there anything you want to leave the audience with, man? Because you've given them a lot. I don't even know if there's nothing else to give, but I always give that opportunity. It can be repetitive, something you've already said, but just want to make sure I give you that chance to share, what's most important to you.
Basically, why be reactive with pharmaceutical drugs when you can be proactive with CBD?
Absolutely. And also, is there a way that they can get into it? I don't know how this is working, and providing the products as well.
Yes, there are also opportunities for people who want to become distributors. If that's something that you are interested in, you can contact me on my business Facebook page. Once again, that is facebook.com Brandon D. Stocker. And just contact me, and I'll give you the information to how you can get involved and start making money in the CBD industry.
Absolutely. And not sure, and this is just another one of those you may stump Brandon questions, but I just have to ask it because of the times that we're in with this COVID-19, with it being a preventative method as well. Do you know of any cases where it helps prevent catching this COVID deal? Or you're not?
Well, I know, sure. I know for a fact that it boosts your immune system, so it makes you less susceptible to the viruses, the diseases, and all of those things that are going around. So it's important to build that immune system. So like I say, you want your body to fight off the stuff that so you're not actually feeling those physical symptoms.
Absolutely. So, absolutely. Yeah. That's that info I was looking for, man. You know, like I said, we got to get it out to the audience because, again, this is a preventative and it's not reactive, you know. So
exactly.
The way you beat this is to have a strong immune system. And so with these times we're living in now, man, CBD is definitely one of the ways to go. So, hey, Brandon, I appreciate the time, man. And
I appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I appreciate it. And I'm going to contact you because I need to get some more information and figuring out what I can use too, man. But
all right.
You know, there it is, man. I appreciate it. So it's Brandon D. Stocker with HempDeLaCreme, CEO of that, providing you with all your CBD needs, and also can give you consultations and let you know the proper usages of it and what you may actually need and how it can benefit you. And, you know, find him on Facebook and Instagram. You know, Brandon, man, shout out to you. Salute to you and your family, man. Y'all stay safe.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I truly appreciate everybody. And go ahead and hit that Facebook page so you can get entered into that drawing. Tomorrow we'll be doing I think I'm going to do it around 12 o'clock, but I'll announce it before. And we'll be doing a drawing and give away those sample packs.
Man, make sure you text me or something, man. I got to be tuned in when your daughter's drawing that out, man.
All right, I got you.
All right, man. Have a good one.
All right. Stay blessed.
Right. Absolutely. You too.
All right.
Appreciate you guys, man. It's the Reach Podcast signing out, man. Y'all have a great one. Stay safe. Wash your hands and be diligent. Be intentional.